Have you ever noticed how the most devastating tragedies in soap operas always happen when the characters are dressed to the nines and sipping expensive champagne? There is something incredibly poetic about high society colliding with raw, untamed nature. The upcoming week of Beyond the Gates is delivering exactly that. We are talking about a massive, highly anticipated crossover event with the young and the restless, a glamorous political fundraiser, and a literal tornado that is going to rip through the country club, leaving death and destruction in its wake. This isn't just a storm. This is a narrative reset button. Let's break down the madness, the terrifying, bloody reveals, and the psychological warfare that is about to unfold. First, we have to set the stage for this absolute disaster. The preview opens with a helicopter landing right in front of the iconic gates of Fairmont Crest. Victor Newman, the mustache himself, steps out and is warmly greeted by Vernon Dupree. The Genoa City elite have arrived. Martin Richardson's political fundraiser is packed with the absolute who's who of both towns. We see Jack Abbott, Diane Abbott, and Kyle Abbott mingling in the crowd. Martin is waving to an applauding audience. Everyone is smiling. Everyone is safe. It is the perfect, terrifyingly calm before the literal storm. And then the lights go out. The sheer panic that erupts in that country club is palpable through the screen. We see Jack Abbott desperately trying to help his wife Diane off the floor in the pitch black. We see Chelsea Hamilton looking absolutely terrified. Glass is shattering everywhere, the wind is howling like a demon, and the massive crystal chandelier crashes to the floor. Vernon is grabbing Anita Dupree, forcing her to evacuate. It is pure, unadulterated chaos. But amidst all this flying debris and screaming, there is one specific storyline that has my jaw completely on the floor, and we need to talk about the Richardson family dynamic immediately. Ted Richardson is running through this war zone, and he finds his daughter, Catherine, Kat Richardson, but this isn't a happy reunion. Ted looks down in absolute horror because Kat's hands are completely covered in blood. Ted is panicking, his heart likely stopping in his chest, and he tells her she is bleeding. But Kat looks at him, her eyes wide with trauma, and delivers the most chilling line of the promo. "It's not my blood." Let that sink in for a second. It is not her blood. Someone in that immediate vicinity has been critically injured, or worse, killed. And this terrifying moment brings Ted and his ex-wife, Nicole Dupree, right back together. The preview shows Ted, Nicole, and Vanessa McBride staring at something on the floor with absolute terror. We are going to see a powerful moment of unity between Ted and Nicole next week as they rally around their traumatized daughter. But wait a minute, let's put our analytical hats on and look at the glaring contradiction here. Where on earth is Shanice Johnson? Just days ago, Shanice finally committed to a relationship with Ted. She has been drowning in grief over the heroic death of her best friend, Derek Baldwin, and she realized life is too short. She chose Ted. Ted has been waiting for this moment. He was supposed to bring Shanice to this massive gala as his date. So here is the million-dollar question. Did Ted abandon Shanice when the tornado hit? Think about the psychology of this moment. When disaster strikes, your primal instincts take over. Ted's instinct wasn't to protect his new girlfriend. His instinct was to find his daughter, Kat, and by extension, the mother of his child, Nicole. If Ted dropped Shanice's hand in the dark to go running for his ex-wife and daughter, the emotional fallout is going to be nuclear. Shanice has already lost Derek to a violent tragedy. If she feels abandoned by the man who claimed to love her during a natural disaster, that relationship is dead on arrival. Furthermore, Nicole literally just confessed to Ted that she has been having steamy fantasies about him. The romantic tension between the exes is already at a boiling point. Surviving a near-death experience together, that is the ultimate catalyst for a reunion. Shanice might survive the tornado, but her relationship with Ted is standing right in the path of destruction. Now, let's pivot to the most brilliant, tragic theory regarding whose blood is actually on Kat's hands. The country club is packed. Anyone could be the victim. But let's look at the narrative threads the writers have been weaving. Ava Thomas and Kat Richardson are both at this event. These two haven't always seen eye to eye, but what if they are forced to work together to survive the storm? What if Kat was right in the path of that falling crystal chandelier or a piece of flying glass, and Eva pushed her out of the way? If Eva took the hit to save Kat, it changes the entire landscape of Fairmont Crest. Eva is a genuinely good person who is constantly dragged down by the chaotic, manipulative actions of her mother, Leslie Thomas. Eva sacrificing her own safety to save a member of the elite Dupree Richardson dynasty is a stroke of poetic genius. But the real reason this theory is mind-blowing is the reaction it will trigger. If Eva is the one bleeding out on that floor, Leslie Thomas is going to lose her absolute mind. We all know Leslie is a menace. She is selfish, she's manipulative, and she recently crashed a hospital press conference just to fake tears and make Derek's death all about her clinic. But there is one undeniable truth about Leslie. She loves her daughter fiercely. Her love might be twisted and toxic, but it is real. If Leslie finds out that her only child was critically injured or killed while saving a member of the Dupree family, she will not view it as a heroic sacrifice. She will view it as the Duprees stealing her daughter's life. Leslie has already been relentlessly hounding Haley Hamilton to form a villainous alliance to take down the Dupree family. Up until now, her motivations have been greed and jealousy. But if Eva is hurt, Leslie's motivation becomes pure, unadulterated vengeance. A grieving, angry Leslie Thomas is a dangerous Leslie Thomas. She won't just want to ruin their reputations. She will want to burn their entire empire to the ground. The Duprees better pray that the blood on Kat's hands belongs to a random extra, because if it belongs to Eva, a war is coming that makes the tornado look like a light breeze. And speaking of terrifying situations, we cannot ignore the claustrophobic nightmare happening in the country club elevator. The power is completely out, and Danny Dupree is trapped inside a small metal box with her ex-husband, Bill Hamilton. The preview shows Bill telling Danny that there is nothing they can do but wait for help, prompting Danny to angrily snap, asking when Bill has ever waited for help in his life. On the surface, this looks like classic soap opera trope territory. Lock two exes in a confined space to force them to confront their unresolved feelings. Naomi Hawthorne has already been warning Bill to stay away from Danny, fearing he is recatching feelings for her. Danny is happily married to Andre Richardson, who is currently terrified of losing her to the BRCA gene. This elevator scene is designed to push their emotional boundaries. Will Bill confess that he still loves her in the dark? Will Danny feel a spark of their old chemistry? But wait! We need to look deeper, because there is a massive ticking time bomb hidden in this scene, and it has nothing to do with romance. It has everything to do with Haley Hamilton and her poison. For weeks, Haley has been secretly dosing Bill with a toxic serum. She hides the vial near her chest, completely rejecting Bill's physical advances just to ensure he doesn't discover it. And the poison is finally working. Just days before this fundraiser, Joey Armstrong met with Bill and noticed that the brilliant lawyer's hands were shaking uncontrollably. Bill's physical health is rapidly deteriorating, and he has absolutely no idea why. Now, place a poisoned, physically weakened man inside an airtight elevator during a highly stressful, panic-inducing natural disaster. When you panic, your heart rate skyrockets. Your blood pumps faster. If Bill starts to panic in that elevator, the poison circulating in his bloodstream is going to hit his vital organs at an accelerated rate. What happens if the air gets thin? What happens if Bill's respiratory system, already compromised by Haley's toxic concoction, begins to fail? Here's a terrifying twist. Bill might not just be trapped. He might start dying right in front of Danny. Imagine the absolute horror of Danny Dupree, trapped in a dark box, watching her ex-husband gasp for air, clutching his chest, completely unable to breathe. She will have no medical equipment, no way to call for help, and no understanding of what is actually happening to him. She will think it's a heart attack or an anxiety-induced asthma attack, completely unaware that he is being actively murdered by his current wife. If Bill collapses in that elevator, Danny is going to have to fight to keep him alive. The irony is staggering. The man who broke her heart, the man she finally moved on from, is now dying in her arms, and she is his only lifeline. Will Bill survive long enough for the emergency rescue teams to pry those elevator doors open? Or will Haley's twisted endgame actually succeed under the cover of a natural disaster? This tornado is the ultimate narrative device. It is stripping away the wealth, the status, and the polite society smiles, leaving these characters with nothing but their primal instincts and their deepest secrets. Ted is forced to choose between his new love and his family. Kat is forced to face the fragility of life with blood staining her skin. Leslie might be pushed over the edge into full-blown villainy if her daughter is the victim. And Bill Hamilton is locked in a dark box, fighting a battle against a poison he doesn't even know is killing him. Beyond the Gates is delivering masterclass storytelling right now. The writers are taking every single simmering plot line, the love triangles, the corporate espionage, the secret poisonings, and throwing them into a literal blender. When the sun finally rises over Fairmont Crest and the winds die down, the town will be unrecognizable. The physical damage to the country club can be repaired with enough money, but the emotional damage, the betrayals in the dark, the realization of who you truly care about when the walls are falling down, that is going to leave scars that last a lifetime. Who do you think is the victim bleeding out on the floor? Did Eva take the hit for Kat? Did Ted leave Shanice behind to save Nicole? And will Bill Hamilton make it out of that elevator alive? The stakes have never been higher. Let me know your theories, and until next time, keep your eyes on the gates, because the storm is just getting started.